at me and tell me what you see.
I look at you and tell you what I feel. Look at me and tell me what you see. I look at you and tell you what I feel.
Welcome back. Now, I'm an avid comic book fan, and as a comic book fan, there are a few films out there that fail so intrinsically that it leaves a deep scar. So I think it's time to take a look at one of those, and to understand how much they really did fail, but also why they failed. This is X-Men Origins Wolverine, a film that single-handedly killed off the concept of more X-Men Origins, insert name here, films from ever being produced. It begins in 1845 Canada with a young Victor Creed trimming his completely unnoticeable claws, and a young James Howlett who's sick and bedridden, which Victor doesn't like very much.
You're always sick.
You were sick when you were my age.
So we can assume that the film's telling us that this is when Wolverine's powers manifest. You'll find that they make sure and justify the fuck out of the name Origins. James's father comes to see how he is, with animosity showing between him and Victor, which will be explained right about now.
Your father's drunk again. You should help him home, Victor.
It's not my name he's calling, sir.
A struggle is heard and then a gunshot, causing James to see what happened. Now, Victor's father just shot and killed James's father. I mention that because I want to talk about a specific point coming up. Victor's father tries to tell James something, but this is when James's powers manifest, growing claws made of bone and screaming, which is actually pretty goofy, frankly. But then James runs at him, as he fires a shot from the shotgun, I might add. James stabs and kills him, but not after this little piece of information.
He wasn't your father. Son.
Okay, that just raises questions like why didn't James's foster father take in Victor as well? And why was Victor's father, who clearly didn't like the situation, allowed near them? Also, are we supposed to give a shit that James just killed his real father? He was a terrible person who just killed a man and tried to kill a child. There's also this.
What are you?
Lady, that man just killed your husband, and your foster son gets the brunt of your scorn? Seriously? Actually, this is another thing you'll see the film do, because X-Men is all about the mutant hatred thing, so the film likes to go out of its way sometimes to slip that in there. James runs away with Victor catching up with him as they pledge to stick together as brothers from then on, which leads into actually one of the good parts of the movie, which is a montage of Victor and James going through various wars in history. As their grown-up selves, they fight in the American Civil War and getting shot with a cannon, point blank no less. But it's on to the next war, World War I to be precise, running through no man's land and then storming a trench and getting shot some more. But suddenly it's World War II and the D-Day landings as the film becomes Saving Private Ryan. Well, until Victor starts doing that, which really does look ridiculous. But as he starts gunning people down, it's clear he's starting to like the killing. Which, as it transitions into the Vietnam War, Victor seeming to be gunning down anything that moves with the helicopter needing to be flown out of there. But in a village, Victor, what can only be assumed, tries to rape a villager, and goes on a rampage killing his fellow soldiers, with James, or Logan I guess is easier to call him, tries to get him to stop, but also protecting him, and they are both sentenced to a firing squad.
Wake me when it's over.
Phew, now that's a lot of stuff happening in a short space of time, but there was a few things I wanted to talk about. Because looking at face value, it was a pretty cool montage. However, the one thing it showed more than anything is that this is a film without consequence. They get shot, they fight in countless wars, and they're making wisecracks, acting like nothing's happened. Now, from what I read, there were plans to give Logan post-traumatic stress disorder, but it was rejected by Fox for being too dark, which is a shame because it would have helped ground these characters in reality. And I don't mean making them dark and gritty. All I'm saying is making it realistic and showing that Wolverine, although essentially invincible, is still a human being. Moving on, Victor and Logan have been placed in prison as their execution wasn't exactly successful, and they get approached by Colonel Stryker, who heard about their survival and wishes them to join his secret team of mutants. Yep, I don't see a problem with that. What were they in jail for?
You've been charged with killing a senior officer.
Good call. That's the kind of soldier you need. Stryker makes them an offer, and what Logan should say is,
"Go fuck yourself."
But no, Victor and Logan are on the plane to their mission without any kind of transition or indication of time, and everyone on the team knows each other. Anyone else sensing the film is a bit of a rush? And we start the introductions to the team with Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, also known as, in the comics at least, Deadpool. Now let me be perfectly clear. I am aware this is actually accurate to the character of Deadpool. He was in a secret military mutant team and all that. But you know what else I'm pretty sure of? No one gives a fuck about Deadpool's origin in a Wolverine movie. And just because you have Ryan Reynolds make jokes...
Granted, it's probably not as intimidating as having a gun or bone claws or the fingernails of a bag lady.
With the cold, dead repetition of someone being paid by the word, doesn't mean it's a good, accurate depiction. It's completely unnecessary, and as history proved, just served to piss the fans off. We get more characterization for the other members of the team, like Fred Dukes, aka the Blob, who's got a new tattoo, which is a setup for a fat joke later. Look forward to that. There's also Bradley, played by a Hobbit, and will.i.am, played by will.i.am. The team lands and reaches some kind of base where people are sorting diamonds. We'll never know how bad these guys are, because whether they're bad guys or not, we'll soon find out isn't the point, as Stryker starts the attack. He sends Zero in first, who's really good with guns and acrobatics. No idea if that's his mutant ability, of course. I don't know every Marvel character, so I know fuck all about Zero. But let's be honest, I shouldn't have to question if he's a mutant or not. The film's not really that great at telling me who these characters are and what they can do. It's then Fred's turn to take on the tank, which is destroyed in less than a second. I think this mutant team might be a little OP. Also, you'd think a super team of mutants would be a lot more fun to watch than this. It's really dull, and it seems more like they have God mode on, rather than using their powers in any kind of clever or interesting way. The team gets inside, taking the elevator, but it's quickly shut down, and Reynolds just has to make more jokes.
Great. Stuck in an elevator with 5 guys on a high-protein diet.
Oh, wait.
Dreams really do come true.
So just shut it. You're up next.
Thank you, sir. You look really nice today. It's the green. Brings out the seriousness in your eyes.
Oh my god, you ever shut up, pal?
I have to agree with Logan. Ryan, shut up. Seriously. You know what's key to comedy? Delivery. Just saying something that's supposed to be funny doesn't automatically make it funny. And I like Ryan Reynolds. I also think he can be funny. But this is not it. Anyway, they get the Hobbit to move the elevator and Wade goes to town killing guys. Okay, I don't doubt his swordsmanship, but I do doubt his swords. That's not really possible without them shattering. But I know, comic book logic, it's fine. Also, there's a rather lack of blood here, and the rest of the film, which is pretty incongruous when your film is about a guy with claws that can cut through anything. Stryker talks with the guy in charge, and it's revealed he's after some kind of metal. Which, to play my geek card, isn't actually adamantium as the film leads us to believe. It's actually vibranium, as adamantium is a man-made combination of steel and vibranium. Yeah, I can hear it now. I can hear why that's not in the film. The team trace the metal to a village as they talk with the guy in charge and Logan not being comfortable with the people held hostage. And after some translation, the guy reveals that it came from the sky, as in a meteorite. And when the guy won't tell Stryker where the metal came from, he gets Victor to kill the guy, and then all hell breaks loose. But Logan stops Victor from killing someone else and tells him he's done, throwing down his dog tags as he leaves. Logan literally did fuck all throughout that, so I don't think he's that necessary to the team. Which ties into what I was saying earlier about it being dull to watch and characters not used to their potential. Because apart from his childhood, his soldier status, and his protests of the violence he saw, we know nothing about Logan or who he is, which is the filmmakers assuming you've either read the comic or seen a previous film with Wolverine in, which is lazy, frankly. We find Logan 6 years later at his freaking amazing mountaintop log cabin retreat, and he also now has a lady with him. Great place to live, great woman to be with, and a generally peaceful and nice life. Yeah, it's not really a case of maybe it'll go wrong, but when and how much. Logan works as a lumberjack, cause regardless of what he does, he needs to be manly as fuck, cause he's Wolverine, bitches. Elsewhere at a carnival, a couple walk around enjoying themselves and they come across our hobbit friend, who's now a carny with a game of turn off the light.
Oh. If you turn off the light, you win a prize. 3 tries for $1.
She tries twice, failing to turn it off, and even when her boyfriend unscrews the bulb, it stays on and burns him.
That's a stupid trick.
It's not a trick, man.
Come on. Freak.
Oh, see, there it is again. The everyone hates mutants thing, except this should be before mutants become widespread knowledge, and for all intents and purposes, he's a guy with a clever game. It just seems so forced. Our hobbit rests for the night, using his abilities to make all the gadgets he has work, but he gets a knock at his door. And wouldn't you know it, it's Victor paying his old teammate a visit. Bradley explains he's got a different life now and hasn't said anything to anyone, but Victor doesn't seem interested in that.
I always thought it would be Wade. He'd come knocking at my door.
Wade's gone.
And just like that, Ryan Reynolds is out of the film. Yes, technically that's not true, but he might as well no longer be in the film. I'll talk more about it later, but basically, Deadpool was a pointless fan rage-inducing addition. Anyway, Victor kills the guy and the whole carnival goes dark because it was sustained by his powers for some reason. Aren't you glad they took the time so we knew these characters? Logan wakes up shouting a manly shout. No way he would do anything else. And this is actually what I was talking about earlier.
Was it the wars? Which one?
All of them.
That is it. That is the only time we see Logan affected by the wars he was in. It never affects him or comes up again. Now tell me if I'm wrong here, but a passing glance on the subject of PTSD, without any follow-through, thought or conviction, might actually be more insulting than not having it at all. The next day, while working his manly job while smoking his manly cigar, I think they might be overdoing it on the masculinity just a bit. Stryker and Zero show up looking for Logan, with Logan deciding to antagonize Zero.
Still shooting first, asking questions later?
Still chewing on cheap cigars?
Rather gun-happy there, ain't he? Still, no word on if that is his power, though. Stryker has a job for Logan and tells him of the Hobbit's death. And no mention of Wade at all. I wonder if that'll be important later. Stryker tells him that Victor is safe, not knowing he's the one doing the killing, but Logan walks off, refusing to help. Logan and his girlfriend, who's yet to be named I should add, come across 2 guys blocking the road like assholes for no reason. Logan tries to get him to move the cars.
Just move your truck so we can go by.
Trying to have a conversation there, right?
You start something, you better be ready to finish.
Hey guys, take it easy. Calm down.
Who the fuck does that? Who parks in the middle of the road and then blames anyone else for wanting to get past? What a complete dick. Logan should kick his ass. But his girlfriend manages to convince the guy to leave instead. Surprisingly easy too. Again, wondering if that'll be important later. And that night she tells a story to Logan, an old legend about a god named Kuwatsu, who was tricked, by a trickster obviously, to pick flowers in our world for his lover the moon in the spirit world, not knowing that once he'd left, he couldn't go back.
Cuckoo Kachu got screwed.
Kuwatsu. Means the Wolverine.
Did we really need all that just for the origin of the name Wolverine? I told you they would give an origin for every little detail. Which is weird because they don't explain why he chose the name Logan. Because in the comic, he chose that name because that was the name of his real father. Kinda doubt that's the reason now. It's nice to have and use detailed history for characters, but not when you change something and ignore the others. Tends to create problems. Not to mention just how bogged down the film's getting in all the mythos it shoves in your face. The next day, Logan's chopping down a tree. Oh, please. He doesn't need a chainsaw. He could do it with his pure testosterone. Okay, I'll stop that now. And Kayla, yes, she's finally named now, is driving but stops in the road because Victor has appeared. And Logan smells something wrong and finds large scratches on a tree and a dog's severed head, which causes him to run to save Kayla. Okay, the dead dog and the tree scratches would point to it being Victor, and despite Logan inquiring whether Victor was safe before with Stryker, Logan still thinks he'd go after Kayla immediately without thinking. That seems a bit incongruous. Victor intimidates Kayla by slashing up the car a bit, to which Logan finds moments later without a Kayla or Victor. And then Logan spots Kayla lying in the field, dead and covered in blood. It's a good thing, while screaming, he didn't notice the lack of bodily injury to explain where the blood came from. That'll be important later. Elsewhere, Victor is at a bar, presumably waiting for Logan and casually carving a smiley face into the table.
You're not from around here, are you?
Yeah, because a guy with a Southern American accent is completely at home in the Canadian Rockies. It's then Logan shows up.
Guys, whatever this is, take it outside.
Everybody runs out the bar and the fighting begins, which, apart from Liev Schreiber doing that ridiculous running on all fours thing, I can't really complain about it. In a Wolverine film, it's kind of what you pay for, and it's pretty impressive. And the fighting does well to utilise and show off their abilities, with comic book levels of violence. And this is more acceptable than the war montage at the beginning, because there's less of all the other psychological aspects. It's just two guys fighting. Logan is knocked down, unable to get up, with Victor saying this.
We're not like them.
Which won't really make sense later on. And then crushes Logan's claws with his foot. Logan's taken to the hospital with doctors ready to stitch him back together, to which they find him completely unharmed, as he gets up asking them where Victor is, because they would know. Stryker turns up to explain things to Logan, whom he blames for Kayla's death. And if you're not sick of it yet...
Why didn't you tell me it was Victor?
I didn't know! Why? I swear on my son's life!
That'll be important later. Stryker tells Logan that Victor went AWOL and vowed to kill everyone. And when Logan says he's going to go kill him, Stryker makes him an offer, a method that will go a lot better than last time.
I promise you two things. You will suffer more pain than any other man can endure. But you will have your revenge.
Great negotiation skills there, Stryker. Now what Logan should say is...
Go fuck yourself.
But no. Again, Logan is very easily persuaded by Stryker, as he's on the operating table in no time flat. And Stryker explains what's going to happen to him, which we all know by now is the adamantium's being grafted to Logan's bones. They don't really explain how the perfectly made knives replace his bone claws, though. Also...
I want new ones.
What do you want him to say?
Wolverine.
Yay, even the dog tags get their little origin. No one's left out here. They begin the process with a room full of scientists and military watching.
Today we're going to create Weapon X. X. Roman numeral 10.
Thanks for the clarification. Because we all thought X stood for extreme. The process begins, and I like how they made it look as painful as possible. It's like, okay, it's going to be needles in his bones. No, wait, drilling needles. No, wait, red-hot drilling needles. I guess Stryker wasn't lying when he mentioned the pain. The adamantium starts to cover his skeleton, and it seems to be incredibly taxing on Logan's body, which finally gives and he flatlines, seemingly dead. And as we're halfway through the Wolverine film, we have to wait a stupid amount of time until they reveal he's alive and the process worked. And then Stryker reveals his evil plan.
We taking him to the island?
Bonding works. We'll use his DNA for the 11. Erase his memory.
To which Logan overhears and then rightfully goes apeshit. Logan gets the hell out of there before the lockdown can take effect, making it outside. Now, I'm a little confused here, but did Stryker just make someone who admittedly was already pretty invincible, basically indestructible, and then try to fuck him over without a single backup plan? He said he was going to wipe his memory, but how exactly? Last time I checked, we don't really have anything that does that. I mean, what was he going to do? Just shoot him in the head? Logan escapes to a local farm as the old couple who live there come back home, spotting him duck into the barn. The old guy investigates with his shotgun at the ready and finds Logan exhausted and freezing and lets him come into the house for some clothes. A nice couple who are happy and willing to help. Yeah, look at that. Let's just subtitle that image, "Shit's gonna go wrong." Logan's in the bathroom cleaning up and decides to check out his new claws. Well, don't they look like a load of CGI crap? And why do they spark? Sparking occurs when tiny pieces of metal fly off something metallic and burn as they react with the air. But if the metal is indestructible, there would be no sparks. Logan destroys things because he's not used to the claws. Except he had bone claws. You'd think he'd be somewhat used to them. This kind of scene makes more sense if he didn't have bone claws first. The next day, Logan is brooding, sitting on the old man's motorcycle, and the old guy gives him his son's jacket. Hey, it fits perfectly, almost like it was tailor-made for him. The old woman comes in to give some drinks, but it's time for shit to go wrong.
I brought you some.
Zero took the shots and Stryker tells him to blow up the barn, to which Logan escapes using action movie cliché number 3, driving away from an explosion like a badass. Zero takes to the skies in the helicopter and chases after Logan. They start shooting even though there's really not much they can do to kill him. And then a jeep shows up to chase Logan on the road. And then, because it's a helicopter, they need to be directly behind Logan, meters from the ground, forcing them to take evasive action when Logan throws a Hummer at them. And then, in some kind of bizarre Rube Goldberg machine of action set pieces, Logan fires at the helicopter, which fires a missile back, propelling him into the air at the helicopter so he can cut the propeller blades, causing it to crash. I like how a lot of this makes it seem like Logan is just stumbling arse first into victory, helped by the incompetence of people trying to kill him. Logan hears Stryker's voice on the radio and approaches the crash site, finding Zero still alive. Logan speaks with Stryker pathetically trying to get Logan to come back.
Where's Victor?
Come back to base. I'll explain everything. We'll take Victor down together.
Now Logan should say, "Oh, to hell with it, just play the clip."
Go fuck yourself.
He heard you say you were going to get rid of him and you've tried numerous times to kill him. I don't think he's going to believe you. Although, come to think of it, it's only taken a few words those 2 other times to get Logan to do something. Why not try it now?
Those were good people back there. Innocent people.
It's funny how good innocent people tend to die around you.
I've never heard that one before. It's your fault they're dead because I shot them due to someone else wanting you dead. That's some brain-twisting logic right there. And then Logan indulges in action cliché number 2, walking slowly away from an explosion without looking back. Stryker is given a gun and some adamantium bullets, because it's the only thing that stops Logan, which wouldn't have been useful at all to give to the super sniper he sent after him. But surely adamantium versus adamantium is kind of like the unmovable object versus the unstoppable force. Wouldn't they just cancel each other out? Or alternatively make the universe explode? I'm not particularly well read on physics though. However, there's more to Stryker's plan than Logan, as he's informed of a young mutant they've been looking for. And it's none other than bland Scott Summers, later known as Cyclops, whose powers consist of concussive blasts from his eyes and creating extreme boredom in all who watch. He's kept after class for wearing sunglasses. Logan goes to see another member of the team, will.i.am. Logan is having a beer with him, his name's John by the way, and he tells Logan that after he left, Stryker started using them to round up other mutants, and taking them to an island, which is where Logan is trying to find. John doesn't know where it is, but Fred Dukes does, as they go to the ring to talk to him. Prepare for fat jokes. Logan is taken to see Fred with strict instructions not to mention his weight.
Hey, Fat, Fred.
Well, that went well. Logan wants to know where Victor is, but Dukes won't tell him.
I ain't leaving here till you tell me where Victor is. Come on, bub, for old time's sake, huh?
Did you just call me
Blob?
No, but...
He attacks anyone who calls him Blob, and yet fat jokes and being called fat to his face is fine. And it did seem rather forced to have Logan call him Bub just for the Blob thing, especially because he hasn't said it at all till now. John has Logan participate in some boxing with Dukes. They start fighting with Dukes knocking Logan down a few times, and Logan hitting but doing nothing to Dukes. And that fat suit they got Kevin Durand in is really stupid. I know it's meant to look ridiculous, but that's taking it to a whole new level. Dukes headbutts Logan, which knocks him for 6, and Logan uses this advantage to knock Dukes to the ground and bring out the claws.
Where's Victor?
And speaking of Victor, he's currently at Scott Summers' school looking for him as he stares in through the window creepily. Victor chases him through the halls with really bad looking effects for his jumping, and then tripping Summers up, knocking his glasses off. You notice the fire it creates? A little bit of geeky information, but I think essential. Cyclops' eye beams are concussive blasts. They push things really hard, they're not lasers. This is basic information, and it's just plain incorrect here. So yeah, they got all the other references with different origins and little details here and there, but missing this detail makes me think they were working off a checklist rather than a genuine knowledge for the comics. The other films got him right, for God's sake. So why not here? Victor catches the kid, and it's then revealed that he's been working with Stryker this whole time, capturing or killing mutants. And Dukes tells Logan this fact as well, which just serves to piss him off at Stryker even more. But Dukes doesn't know where the island is either, but tells Logan of someone who escaped by the name of Remy LeBeau, otherwise known as Gambit. So with that information, off they go to New Orleans, which, despite being 1,700 miles away from Las Vegas, they get there pretty much instantly. They find their way to the club where Gambit is identified immediately by the playing cards flying through the air. Gambit is supposed to be an expert card hustler. Who the fuck is going to play cards with the guy? It doesn't matter if he can cheat his way through a poker game if anyone can see from a mile off that he's a master at card manipulation. But that's hardly the main problem with the character, as we'll soon see. Logan sits down for a game of poker while John goes out the back, and he spots Victor skulking around and teleports to him for a fight.
I ain't Bradley, Victor, and your creepy black coat don't scare me.
Really? Worked on Dukes.
Wow, after all that with Dukes, he's killed off-screen and given a single sentence send-off? I'm starting to get the feeling the film's got too many characters it doesn't know what to do with. While Logan tells Gambit what he knows about the island and his escape, John fights Victor and he seems to be doing pretty well. Until Victor just grabs the guy's spine mid-teleport and kills him pretty quickly. So far, this elite team were nothing compared to Victor. At the poker game, Gambit notices Logan's dog tags, and for some reason, despite Logan saying he wants to kill Victor and doesn't know where the island is, Gambit attacks him because he thinks Logan wants to take him back there and imprison him. Why would he honestly think Logan was working for Stryker? Maybe he just didn't want to help, but it's kind of a dumb idea to hurt your enemy's enemies. Also, I hate this version of Gambit, and I can give you a perfect example of why. Outside, Logan gets up and sees Victor taking John's DNA, and then...
2 years I rotting in that hell and I never...
I don't like it when characters are brought into a movie just to be badly written and ridiculed. It's disrespectful to the character and its fans. Logan and Victor start fighting again, with Logan having a large advantage against Victor. But then Gambit... How the fuck did he get up there so fast? He was on the floor not 20 seconds ago. Regardless, he jumps from the roof with his bow staff hitting the ground, and it separates Logan and Victor, and demolishing the place as a result. That seemed more effective at property damage than hurting people. Victor runs with Logan trying to run after him, but he's stopped by Gambit so they can have a little fight too. More property damage ensues, but I don't even know why Gambit would fight, instead of just getting the hell out of there. And once they're done, Logan just gets Gambit to take him to the island anyway. Kind of feels like a lot of pointless fighting and property damage could have been avoided if Gambit hadn't shot Logan through a wall. Back with Stryker, we get the payoff for when he said this.
I swear on my son's life!
As his son is on ice, and if you saw X-Men 2, you'd know his son made his wife kill herself, and now Stryker hates all mutants because of it. The General is there to look over the Weapon 11 project, who has all the powers they have collected so far. It's also Wade. Why he chose Wade exactly, I'm not too sure. He didn't seem that special at the start. Oh yeah, because Stryker made a passing comment about him being the perfect soldier without us ever seeing any evidence of that. And so they can make him into the proper image of Deadpool for the never-to-be-made by these guys Deadpool movie. In a fucking Wolverine movie. But the General thinks Stryker is too close to the situation, that the stuff about his son is what's motivating him, so he's going to shut the project down. And of course being correct means Stryker kills him, because he's the only one to know about the shutdown, and no one will miss a General apparently. Logan and Gambit are flying towards the island, which turns out to be 3 Mile Island, and Logan makes his way to it by just jumping out of the plane. Which can't be a good idea, because I would think drowning might be a problem for him. But Logan gets to the island pretty quickly, and makes his way to where Stryker is working on Weapon 11. Stryker's not surprised to see him, however, and explains why he did what he did.
Before I got you, I want to know why.
I needed your powers for the pool.
The what?
The mutant killer. Deadpool.
We really needed to know where the name Deadpool came from. Thanks for that. And I didn't think he had Logan's DNA. That's why he was after him, for God's sake. Also, he's having Victor kill and capture mutants with 0 problems, so he can create something that will kill and capture mutants with 0 problems. What? And then, surprise, surprise, Kayla shows up, revealing that she was also working with Stryker, using her powers of tactile hypnosis, faking her death to get Logan to work with him. So then Logan just walks out of there. No one stops him. Turns out Logan's not that necessary after all. So when Stryker said he was the last thing he needed, he just meant he wanted to fuck with him a bit before letting him go. And Kayla wants Stryker to let her sister go because her sister is one of the mutants imprisoned on the island, and that's why she helped Stryker, which I guess redeems her somewhat, but makes her ultimately stupid for trusting Stryker. Victor shows up wanting Stryker to give him adamantium like he did for Logan, but Victor wouldn't survive the operation. Stryker continues to piss off people he's made deals with. He's pretty terrible at this whole thing. But Victor, for some reason, decides to take it out on Kayla, which Logan hears outside and comes to save her. What the hell is that? That kind of pose might look dynamic and cool in a comic book, but it really doesn't translate well into a film. It looks really stupid and just bizarre. Logan and Victor fight some more, with Victor being pushed out the window, and with Logan about to make the killing blow, Kayla tells him that he's not an animal, which gets him to stop and just knock him out instead. Yeah, just knock him out and leave him, it's fine. It's not like he's killed several people and friends of Logan that he needs to answer for. Also, come to think of it, that old couple that Stryker had shot, the fact that they're never mentioned or thought of again, makes their deaths incredibly pointless and gratuitous. There's a brief game of Who's Who in the X-Men universe, as Logan goes down the line opening all the cages, uniting Kayla with her sister. But as they try to escape, Weapon 11 shows up for a fight with his arm swords, which are too long for his arms. Where the hell are they hiding exactly? The fight begins as we get a glimpse of Deadpool's... No, fuck you. I'm calling him Weapon 11 and that's it. We get a glimpse of Weapon 11's abilities like healing. The mutants continue to escape, but armed guards fire on sight, causing them to stop. But with Emma Frost as a shield, they fire Cyclops at them, ending the confrontation pretty quickly. Stryker really does have no backup plan when these things go wrong. And Kayla chooses to stay for Logan, but I suspect it's mainly because she's been shot. And while running around the facility, Cyclops hears a voice in his head telling them which way to go.
We go left.
You can't see.
Trust me.
That's how I get all my instructions. So, where were we? Back with the fight, Logan climbs up one of the silos because why the hell not, I guess, and Weapon 11 teleports so they can fight up there instead. 11 subdues Logan and is about to decapitate him, but Victor shows up knocking 11 off the silo. Great idea and all, but how about we don't fight on top of the nuclear silo? Just an idea! There's some teleporting fighting which is actually a pretty good and well choreographed fight scene, until 11 thinks of a better way to kill them. Isn't that cute? They gave him black diamonds on his eyes like Deadpool's mask. Very clever. 11 teleports, then fires at Victor just long enough for Logan to come behind and decapitate him quite easily, destroying the tower as the head falls. But never mind that. How about some forced as fuck dialogue to explain shitty writing?
Let's see him heal with a few of these through his thick skull. His brain may heal, but his memories won't grow back.
That was the writer sitting you down and explaining why their bullshit works, and slapping you in the face for thinking otherwise. Back on the silo, Logan and Victor part ways. Victor jumps, presumably off to turn into a mute Tyler Mane who doesn't recognise Logan. And Logan falls off and is about to be crushed by the silo until guess who shows up.
You miss me?
Nope, not at all really. Kayla is also in the wreckage, badly wounded. Logan tries to help her out of there. The movie even tries to fake us out, making it look like the end of the movie. And that's when Stryker uses his memory-erasing bullets, missing Logan's head until he lunges at him, and he even double-taps just to be sure. He tries to shoot Kayla, but she uses her hypnosis ability to get him to walk continuously, which really should kill him on an island 3 miles across, but she wasn't really specific on a direction. And the mutants escape and see who was the guy giving them mysterious directions.
It will be all right, Scott. My name is Charles Xavier. I'm a mutant, like you.
Oh good God, they stretched Patrick Stewart's face onto a mannequin. My God, it's hideous. Anyway, to finish, Logan wakes up not remembering anything at all, not even Gambit. Wish I had that privilege. And he sees Kayla, who's now dead but admits to not knowing who she was, which is a rather bittersweet end that I think this movie could have used a bit more of, really. So that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. But wait, there are a few more things first. Stryker is found walking and is picked up being arrested for the murder of the General. Not really necessary because he's in X-Men 2, and there's this. Nothing like a small fuck you before they go to know they care. I would say this film is almost like the prototype for the Marvel movie universe because it tries so damn hard to shove as much into this film to set up. But Marvel doesn't own the movie rights to X-Men characters and had no involvement with the film, so it's not really surprising it failed. Marvel was getting its shit together with Iron Man, so we know this could have been done better. But here, there's just too many damn characters, and it tries to fit in previous movie canon with comic book canon, which is very difficult to do unless you really know your shit. And they didn't. Thankfully, Marvel got their act together with their own stuff. I wonder how DC is doing. And it would be nice to see Ryan Reynolds in a more prominent superhero role. But I don't know, feels like I'm forgetting something. Perhaps I'll take a look at that at a later date. See you next time.
From the studio that inexplicably sewed his fucking mouth shut the first time, comes 5-time Academy Award viewer Ryan Reynolds as a man on an eHarmony date with destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you... me, Deadpool.